Hey, what do you say, Seattle hockey fans? It is a Seattle Kraken game day. So much has happened for our squad since even in the middle of my recording Friday's episode. We're going to go over it. I'm also going to share a little fun walk down memory lane or my first memory of Tomas Tatar, who is now a member of the Seattle Kraken. All that and more coming up on this game day episode of Locked On Kraken.
You are Locked On Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are the Seattle Kraken.
Hey, what do you say, Seattle hockey fans? Welcome to a game day live episode of Locked On Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Erica L. Ayala, coming to you most days here from my Tulsa studio, covering all things Seattle Kraken. And I'm sure you've heard the news by now. There were a lot of roster moves and things like that happened in the last 24 hours. As I mentioned in my cold open, even as I was recording yesterday's episode, that includes Tomas Tatar coming to the Seattle Kraken. It was a trade. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But hey, Megan, what's going on? Good to hear from you. Thanks for joining the live stream. But we're gonna hop right into it. So, I mean, let's start with Tomas Tatar. And this is a player that I know exactly. Welcome to HC Opportunity, Tomas. I love that. Good to see you, Striatic. So this is a guy that I knew when he was playing for the New Jersey Devils. He most recently this year was playing with the Colorado Avalanche. And so the way the trade goes is we get Tatar and we sent over a 5th round selection in the 2024 draft. So the upcoming draft. I love this. So Hack doesn't wear a tie and we get 2 big wins. Nice. I mean, listen, we've been talking, Megan, about this being a fun, fast, forechecking team. So maybe the tie had to go by the wayside. Did he play with the Avs? Did he go over last year or the year before? It could have been. Well, actually, I have his stats right here, so I will let you know. I thought he was still with Jersey last year. 23-24. Yeah, that's this year. Yeah, he was with New Jersey in 22-23. He was definitely with New Jersey in 21-22, which we'll talk about a little bit later on the show. But Tomas Tatar is who we get. Not a lot that we gave up, so to speak, but I think it is worth talking about the cap. So he's coming in at 1.5. So, we are a team, and this will make sense when we talk about some of the other things that I want to talk about. But, we're a team that we kind of have to be a little bit more thoughtful than we've had to be in a while regarding the cap, and also just kind of how many players we even have on our roster. So if we look at projected cap hit right now is at 84, projected cap space 584 million. 573,000 is our projected cap space. I think they have some updating to do because we do have Schwartz on long-term injured reserve. But so we get Tatar. Let's just stick with Tatar. I'll get into the cap stuff in a little bit. But 33 years old. Now he's been a player in his career that has been a 20 goal scorer. His numbers are low right now, given what his output has been with Colorado. He's got 9 points overall, 1 goal, 8 assists, but 22-23 with the Devils. He was a 20 goal scorer. He was a 20 goal scorer with Montreal in 2019-20, 2018-19. He had 3 years consecutive in Detroit. So I'm very curious to hear what Everett is going to have to say about Tatar. But with 3 consecutive years, 14-15, 15-16, and 16-17, 20 plus goals for the Red Wings. So, he's definitely coming for his offensive power. And I know Allison is doing a great job. If you don't follow Allison, contributes to Davy Jones locker room, make sure you do that. But she talked about net front presence when it comes to Tatar. And that reminds me of why I know Tomas Tatar. I know of him, again, definitely because he played with the Devils. But as some of you know, I actually got to call a New Jersey Devils game, and I got to call a Tomas Tatar goal. We'll get into that in a little bit, but yeah, I'm pretty excited for the trend, the uptick that we've seen with the Seattle Kraken with our roster as constructed, us focusing on having a net front presence and then bringing in bringing in a goal scorer that can really be in the grill of our opponents. I like that. So yeah, okay. So yeah, he was with a few teams, but the Devils last year. He made that playoff run with the Devils. He actually talked about that earlier today. Let's see. What do we got here? I'm feeling like somehow maybe it's Riker Evans, but the Coachella Valley team personality has been infused into the Kraken, including into Hack a bit. I kind of love it. I kind of love this. I love this conversation. I do have some clips that I have from Dave Haxtell, and he talked a little bit about the levity that's needed and necessitated. And yeah, we can't forget Riker Garth Evans, sitting in a kiddie pool. I think he has a really interesting, it seems to me like he has a really interesting style of humor where it's very kind of deadpan, just kind of a very dry, sarcastic humor, unassuming. And then you're like, wait, what did you just say? Kind of sneaks up on you. I love that kind of humor. So I'm here for it. Yeah, Riker is great. So we're kind of talking about this. So let's just get into also some of the roster moves that we saw. So if you watched yesterday's episode or listened to it, you heard I was doing my Firebird Friday. We were getting into it. I wanted to talk about Jack LaFontaine, and I was actually playing some audio. It wasn't the greatest audio, so apologies for that. But we heard from Jack LaFontaine. He got his first outright start with Coachella Valley. He had to make a save within the early seconds of the first period, and we heard Andrew Podorowski talk a little bit about that. And then I'm looking at my updates, and I see that the Seattle Kraken made a move yesterday to bring Ty Cartier back to Coachella Valley and bring Shane Wright up. And so I said yesterday, as I was kind of processing it, am I overall surprised? Like, it was kind of like a yes and no, because I didn't think, and we talked about it on yesterday's episode, Ty Cartier scored yesterday. I do know that the Seattle Kraken overall are struggling, and maybe I was saying, maybe we didn't see enough from him, but it just seemed tough. Well, after I finished the recording, I took a look and I posted this on our YouTube community page, but Jeff Baker had actually tweeted prior to the announcement from the Seattle Kraken that there were going to be some moves and that they weren't going to make a lot of sense, but just kind of let it ride out. And then seeing people like Emerald City Hockey, Allison, who I mentioned earlier, talk a little bit about the cap situation and long-term injured reserve, LTIR. We have some injuries. We know Burakovsky is right now not available. We know Philip Grubauer right now is not available. We also know that Justin Schultz, Jaden Schwartz, and now today we got the news that Jordan Eberle, all of the Jays are just not available. So a little bit of this maneuvering had to do with, if you're going to put I guess it's Jaden Schwartz on that long-term injured reserve, which we did get confirmation. It was a little bit of cap space manipulation. I will be honest, that is not, as I like to say, my ministry. So I'm kind of following along with other people, with what other people are saying here. I trust you all. I'm sure you're doing a great job. I am not the penny pincher, the money cruncher. I will leave that to you all. But okay, what I'm trying to say is, Riker Evans, Ty Cartier going to Coachella Valley didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I also talked about it yesterday. Where are we slotting in Shane Wright if he comes up? And just didn't make a lot of sense. So this is what we do know. This is what we do know. And Megan, I see your comment about Chris Drieger because I've been kind of trying to get to that. We've just had so many other transactions happen for the Seattle Kraken, but I'm going to get to that for sure because I'm very curious as well. I think if we had that back-to-back on the opposite side of Grubauer's injury, then maybe we would have seen him. But I mean, it is what it is. And Joey Dax is playing pretty good. So anyway, okay, let's go through what we're expecting to see in the lineup today. So this is what we're expecting to see in the lineup today. And this is per Allison, I mentioned. So Tatar is going to slot into the top six. He's taking that spot on the Beniers and McCann line. We saw some video of him skating, chatting with Maddie B. I like that. That puts Cartier with Wenberg and Tanev. That third line, I said it yesterday, let's not mess with it. I like what's happening there. Let's keep it going. Same thing, honestly, with the fourth line. And then our D pairs stay the same. So, Megan, to your point, though, about Drieger, because you see that he's on here with Joey Decord. I don't know. I've been starting to wonder if part of the reason Drieger went to Coachella Valley this year is just to make sure we're giving him an opportunity to get stronger coming off an ACL injury. That being said, if this was more, we want to give Drieger time than we want to give Joey Decord a chance, I would say that Joey Decord has made the most of his time with the Seattle Kraken. And it seems hard for me right now. Like I said, it's only, like I said yesterday, it's only 2 wins, but it seems like it's just a little bit hard timing wise to slot Chris Drieger in. That's my take on it. That being said, this isn't a guy getting his first start. He's been with the Seattle Kraken. So I guess it's a matter of, what does Dave Haxtell and the rest of the coaching staff, what are they willing to shake up? And do they think that they can be on pace? Because we need wins. We need wins badly. Is it too much of a disturbance to kind of what's building to slot in Chris Drieger? I think it's worth thinking about, like having the mental exercise, but my gut tells me that you don't lose much playing Chris Drieger. And a part of the reason is because he has been playing with Coachella Valley, and he, I think, has been playing pretty well with Coachella Valley. So now you run the risk of doing the exact opposite. Drieger not getting time. Now he's played this role before, but also he's getting and coming off of injury. And I think any goaltender would say they'd rather get repetitions than not. So are we getting to a tipping point? I'm not really sure. I do know that we need this win tonight. So I'm expecting it to be Joey Dax. He's played well in the last 2. Then, we have Dallas, LA, Anaheim. Maybe Anaheim, maybe depending on how we play against LA. We're on the road. So I think maybe next week, if we still have Drieger, which it sounds like we will, but I'm not opposed to getting Drieger in, and perhaps sometime soon, because I think we might need him. Okay, yeah. So don't get me twisted, loving Joey, but Dreeks has been my boy since 2019. I get you. I get you. Why bring him up? I'm not sure if you mean Drieger. Well, we brought Drieger up because Philip Grubauer seems like he's going to be out for a little bit. And then, kick him back down. Don't leave him hanging. I hear what you're saying, but again, Jack LaFontaine is effectively the starter right now, or I should say he just got to start, but I think he's in the rotation right now with Coachella Valley. He's coming up from Kansas City. Stetska has been struggling with the Coachella Valley Firebirds, and you can't just have Joey Decord. So I think Drieger is by far, in the situation that we have right now throughout the entire pipeline, he's the right choice to be the second goaltender or one of the two goaltenders in the NHL. That's not a question. So that's why you bring him up. I mean, there's a very specific reason why he's been brought up. It's because you don't want your goaltender to get hurt and then you not have a goaltender. Is he going to get time? That I don't know. The first time he came up seemed like a shorter stint, so it wasn't surprising that he didn't get time. Philip Grubauer just needed a little bit of rest. This seems like a longer injury. So now that it is a longer injury, I kind of hear what your point is, but also it's a little bit of a different scenario. They're not going to send him down even if he doesn't get starts because they need a second NHL ready goaltender, and that is absolutely Chris Drieger and Joey Decord right now. So that's kind of a little bit of that. I get you. I mean, deserves, and we've talked about this before, and I've alluded to this. I would like to see Drieger get a chance, but again, is the timing right? Is the situation right? If Grubauer is out for long, which it seems like he will be, I do think we're going to see Chris Drieger just because Joey Decord has not been playing every game, even when he's been playing well with us this year. Is he going to, again, I can see it all kinds of ways. All I know is this team has to win games. I want us to win tonight. And if we can get 3 to 4 points next week, 6 games on the road, that's solid. We need wins. We need outright wins. I mean, I really want to be greedy. So I don't think Drieger is a liability. And I do think that the Seattle Kraken need to focus on the things that they need to do better. And quite honestly, whether it's Grubauer, Drieger, or Grubauer, Decord, or even Drieger, goaltending has not been the issue. Goaltending hasn't been the issue. So on the one hand, I'm with you. Sure, give them a game. On the other hand, if goaltending isn't the issue, then why are we sitting Joey Decord if he's healthy and ready to go? I think this all just comes down to time, to timing, to matchups. So that's kind of how I feel. I just want my boy back. Hey, I get you. I mean, I was heartbroken, literally, fighting back tears when Ryan Donato came back, but that's just kind of how it goes. Internet timing in here. Look at all the top teams. Goalie tandems are needed. Absolutely. Now, here's the thing about the goalie tandems for the Seattle Kraken. We haven't had a healthy goalie core ever. Drieger got injured in season 1. Gruby, I'm sure, got banged up in season 1, but nothing long-term. Gruby came back with a vengeance. Season 2 got hurt right off the hop. That's how, we end up with, wow, how did I just blank on his name? It's my guy, Martin Jones. With Martin Jones really bailed us out last year. So I get what you're saying. I think it's not an immediate need, but the Seattle Kraken need to figure out if they can keep a goalie tandem in the NHL healthy. And the reason I played the clips from Jack LaFontaine yesterday, who was with Kansas City, he mentioned he was with Firebirds for a little, went back to Kansas City, came up, came down, came up, came down. And he says, I'm kind of at the whim of whatever's happening ahead of me. That's just the situation that I'm in. And if we don't figure this out at the NHL level, then it, of course, it's going to impact every other level that we have. And it seems to me, in watching what's happening at the ECHL level and at the AHL level, which is obviously impacted by what's happening at the NHL level, but I don't feel like our goalie farm system, like our plan for long-term goaltending, is as solid as other places. I really like what we have coming up in the decors, including people who we haven't even seen in Coachella Valley yet, like Ty Nelson. We know we've got the Furcus Circus coming. Shane Wright, Riker Evans is a part of that very next wave. I'm still on the Matty Beniers train. I know he's been struggling, but he's our guy. I believe that. So I think we got to figure out goaltending in not just for the immediate and keeping our guys healthy, because they have a pretty high price. I'm looking at Cap Friendly on my other screen right now. They have a pretty high price for us not to get what we need health-wise in return. And that's kind of the nastiness of the business, because I don't like talking about people that way. And in sports business, people are attached to figures and to money and to salary and to overall value. And as Devin Shore said the other day, this is a results-driven business. So it's kind of yucky. I'm very uncomfortable talking about it, and it's a part of the reality. People are realizing goalies are just as important as the lines. Extremely important. Extremely important. Extremely important. I like this. Good point. Always why having a good goalie coach is very important. Got to keep the goalie machine operating smoothly no matter who is on the roster. And what did we see after season 1? We made a coaching change at the goaltender coaching position right away. So I like what you're doing back and forth here. Okay, Tomas Tatar. He did speak to media, and I thought he had some solid things to say. He says he knows what it's like to play at CPA. They were just here November? Whatever. Yeah, no. Well, we played them. Yes, it was home and away in November. So that he was just here, and he says he's excited for that. He knows a few of the guys, talked about Grubauer. Talked about Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. But I want to take you, and I see we have some more comments. I'm going to play a video from Tomas Tatar, and that'll give me a chance to look at some of the comments, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about what to expect tonight, Kraken versus Kings. Here's Tomas Tatar from earlier today at Morning Skate.
To join this team and have a new chance here in a brand new city.
Yeah, it's a great restart for me. I'm very excited for the opportunity. Hopefully I can help out as much as I can.
Having Pierre-Edouard Bellemare back in this same room from the days in Vegas, what's that mean to you?
Yeah, it's nice, to see similar faces. I played with Gruby at the Team Europe as well. So, it's always, a little helpful when you have players you know or you played with.
Anybody else that you remember?
There's a lot of guys who I play against. Probably not someone close as Gruby or Belly, but obviously, so far guys been very nice to me, so it was warm welcome.
What have the last 24 hours sort of been like for you?
Pretty crazy. That turnaround looks pretty fast, but I couldn't be more excited to join, and I wanted to get here as fast as possible to be ready to play.
When and where were you when you got the news?
I was home. I was waiting for what's going to happen, and I was very excited when I found out.
What do you bring to this team, and how do you feel you can fit in with this group here?
I think I can bring a little more scoring. So I've been doing it my whole career. I wanted to, have a restart. Feel more comfortable. Hopefully, I'll fit in the system, and like I said, I'm going to try to help as much as I can.
You've obviously played against this team multiple times before. From your perspective, what's something that stood out about the way they play or the guys on this group?
I want to say the depth of the team. They always roll 4 lines. Each of the line brought something, and it was very tough building to play. So I'm very excited I can join and be on this side.
Colorado's tight log jam lineup-wise. How would you kind of state how you moved on?
I want to say it's a little different than here. Like I said, here you have I would say 4 lines, when each line brings something, there you have more, one line is doing a lot of work and everybody, is trying to chip in. But here I think it's more spread out. So there's a lot more opportunity and everybody's bringing something. I mean, I'm very excited, to see the lineup and to see the players live. Obviously, when you practice with someone every day, you see different stuff. So today was a good day. It was a lot of new faces and pretty new stuff. But hopefully I can adapt really fast.
You had a 20-goal year last year in New Jersey. What's the secret to staying productive as you get past the 800 NHL games?
I guess just having fun with it and do what you do best. It was a pretty successful season for our team last year. After a while we made it to the playoffs and we passed the first round for a fairly young team, so they got a lot of experience. And I was hoping to sustain it. And I know we're a little behind right now, but hopefully we can pick up a lot of points, and get us right back on track.
Obviously, joining a new group, a lot of new faces, like you said. What's the key to trying to develop that chemistry from day one?
It might, take a while, just with the new system, but obviously, so far Bernie, and Jared were very helpful. Talk to me, about the drills. Hopefully we can build that chemistry right away.
So that was Tomas Tatar. I was catching up on the comments, and yeah, he might seem unassuming. He stands at 5'10", 173 pounds, but I think his knack for the net, at least from what I saw with the Devils, it really comes from him being able to control his body in tight spaces, absorb some contact, and just be solid on his skates and on his stick to redirect a puck. So yes, indeed, welcome to the deep or the depths, Tomas. I love it. He knows how blessed he is. Everyone just seems genuinely excited to give Seattle a chance. And I know some people have talked about, I mentioned he's only got the 1 goal this season, but if you, and Striatic, I see that you've made mention in the comments, but what he is kind of saying, or what I'm reading in between the lines of what he's saying, is that there just wasn't the right fit, the right vibe, the right gel for whatever reason in Colorado. I think he did have that in New Jersey, and he sees this as an opportunity to be in a place where he can contribute once again. You might have heard in the clip he was asked about staying sharp and being productive when you're over 800 career games played. And, he kind of laughed that one off. But I think that, again, what he has the potential to bring to this squad is pretty cool. I mentioned I have a little bit of a Tatar story. So some of you know that I was able to call a New Jersey Devils game for International Women's Day a couple of seasons ago. They happened to be playing the Colorado Avalanche at New Jersey. But again, Tatar was with New Jersey at that time. But here's a little compilation clip and my very fond memory. I also got to interview him in an intermission for New Jersey Devils radio, but I'm not going to play, obviously, the whole game for you. But here's a little clip of me calling a Tomas Tatar goal.
That initial shot in, clank, hits the post. Tatar was not tardy for that party.
Devils have an all-female digital broadcast team calling the game on the RWJ Barnabas Health Devils Hockey Network.
And now back in the other way. Bratt, his pass. Nice pass, a shot, and a goal! The Devils go on the scoreboard. What a fantastic play there by New Jersey.
One of my favorite lines came from you tonight. Was it Tatardy to the party? He wasn't Tatardy to the party that time.
Oh, so not at all. Getting that goal.
We love your spice, and I love having your energy alongside me.
Bratt. Oh, nice pass. Hughes, a shot, a goal! Nice job there at the back door by Nate Bastian.
Not one time, not 2 times, but thrice, the Devils find a way to find the puck in front of the net, and they put it away for the lead. You called it, Kelly.
This has been an amazing experience I will never forget, and hopefully it's not my last.
that part.
Yes.
Absolutely. I echo what Kelly said. Thank you to everyone that made this possible. Oh man, good times. Yes, don't be tardy for the party. And just a little bit of a background. So if you were to listen to, and I think I have it like on my personal YouTube, but if you were to listen to or watch that game, you'll see that I'd say within the 5 to 7 minutes before that goal, Tomas Tatar had an opportunity net front, and he couldn't get his stick on the puck and create an opportunity for New Jersey. So I said something, or maybe I thought it. I don't remember exactly what I said for the first play, but I remember saying he was a little late. Tatar was late. And so there's that song, "Don't be tardy for the party." And that's the first thing that came to my head. So now, every time I think of Tomas Tatar, I'm definitely thinking net front presence, but for a very specific reason. So I can give you, for my own eye test, that yes, he will be a net front presence. Again, what I've seen from him in that game that I called for New Jersey, and I think what just kind of his MO is to be, he's like slippery like Bjorkstrand, but like closer up. He's not as sandpapery from my experience as a Ryan Donato, but like if you could mix Oliver Bjorkstrand and Ryan Donato, that to me is what I think Tatar has potential to be. So that, if you listen to the show, you know I'm super, super excited. Can you borrow that, "Tardy for the Party"? Go for it. Yeah, I can't claim that. I think it was like a housewife video. I don't know. I forget like the cultural reference there, but yeah. So now we'll have an opportunity to say if Tatar was tardy for the party or if he's right on time. And don't even get me started if he and Ty Cartier end up connecting at some point. That's just a lot of party, but that's what we need. We're talking fun, we're talking fast, we're talking a forward-checking hockey team. That's what's going to get the Seattle Kraken out of the slump that was self-inflicted. You know, we've been talking about it. Obviously, my frustration with how the Kraken have been playing, but a part of that is because we know that they can play better, and they just didn't step up to the task with enough consistency, with enough people backing up the process. That has been the issue for the Seattle Kraken. And like I said yesterday, using my Eddie, that's a movie from 1996, my Eddie reference, it's only 2 games. If they win tonight, it's only 3 games. And I will say that after 4, after 5, after 6, after 7, after 8 in a row. Once we get to 8 in a row, then at least we erase the deficit is now neutral. And now the Seattle Kraken can get back on track. Now, do I know that they're going to win 8 in a row? Of course not. Winning 8 games in a row is difficult. I'm not saying that this is an easy thing to do. My point is overall that that's the good faith that the Kraken need now. Maybe not for themselves, because I think they, as a unit, as a team, are in the right place. Those are the vibes that I'm getting. I'm gonna be with the Seattle Kraken in another week and a half, and I will be looking out. I will be looking out for vibes. You know, I'm good at vibes. If I can find vibes through the interwebs and just by watching games, you know, I feel the vibes when I'm with the crew. I told you I'm good with vibes, so I'm gonna be collecting all of the vibes. I get the sense that the vibes are good. They're much better than they were before, but now it's the consistency, and you can be a consistent team and not always meet success as far as wins losses. That wasn't the issue though for our Kraken team this year. I think that our Kraken team in season 1, in their own way, they were consistent, and they also had different limitations. They weren't built the same. That's why it was so frustrating. And I kind of said season 3 in our lowest points has been a mix of like the not so great from season 1 and the not so great that we saw early in season 2. And it was just like, come on, we're better than this. So, you know, yes, lots of, a Cartier party, tardy for the party with Tatar. Let's go. All of the partying. I want all of the partying tonight. And, you know, it would be a great celebration to get a good result against LA. Let's talk a little bit about LA because that's the game that's coming up. And I want you to make sure you have enough time to get ready for Inside Kraken Hockey. We've got, of course, the pregame show. I want to make sure you have enough time for all of that. Okay, here's what we've got. Know the enemy, as I like to say. 36 points, 16-6-4. Their away record 11-1-1. Woo! I mean, that's pretty solid. We are 6-8-2 at home. You can see Kevin Fiala, Kempe. Ooh, that's such a good call in Spanish. Kempe, Kempe, Kempe. Hat trick. And of course, Andre Kopitar. Just solid players right there, all at 26, points. You can see they have a very good penalty kill. Our power plays are about the same, but that PK is going to be dangerous for us. So, also Dave Haxtell, I see some comments about Hack. We're going to get to him, and I think we'll have some time to play some clips from him. But just saying that, they know this is a good team. They know this is a team that can really take up a lot of space and energy in the middle. They're going to want to take that away. That means not just in neutral ice, but also getting into the slot is going to be difficult for the Seattle Kraken. Okay, let me come back to these comments. I need to know the Hack vibes. Okay, since you asked for it, Hack vibes have been good. Dave Haxtell's been joking with media. He's been shorts and a zip up at morning skate, from what I can tell. I think Hack's feeling loose. He got a new haircut about a week ago. I always notice haircuts. I don't know. It's so strange. But he got it a little trimmed up. Nothing too fancy. Just keeping it nice and tame. Who makes the decisions for trades? So yeah, that's more of a front office thing. So that's more of your GMs. I'm sure that Ron Francis and the Mandrecki and all of the rest of the kind of the squad there, I'm sure they talked to Dave Haxtell about that. But there's a few thoughts. One, ultimately, it's going to be the GM's decision. Two, sometimes you want your head coach or your coaching staff to have a little bit of distance as far as the decision making when it comes to some of those things. I don't think this is necessarily a situation, and we can get into that on another episode, but my take is that sometimes you want a little bit of separation because the coach is going to have to deal with the players that are coming in, but also the players that are exiting in a little bit of a different way than the GM. But I would imagine it's the GM that's calling to let everyone know what's happening. So yes, the teal kicks were fantastic for Dave Hack. Okay, let's go to Dave Haxtell. Now you're going to hear him talk a little bit about Tatar and also Eberle. This is from today's morning skate.
Really skilled player. I mean, thinks the game really well. I think he has the ability to fit in with the way we want to play in terms of the pace and the quickness that we want to play with. He can think the game at that pace for sure, and he can play with the puck at that pace as well. He's in tonight, yes. Ebbs will be not available tonight. He's out day to day. Ebbs lower body. Yeah. Good. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, Lars is a warrior night in and night out. For a guy that plays as hard as he does. I mean, it speaks a little bit to his mental and his physical toughness. The number of games that he just continues to play and play hard every night. So that's where it starts, and for sure with Lars is just his competitiveness. That's where a lot of his leadership comes from. It's not necessarily in spoken words. It's in the things that he does on a daily basis. And he's done that consistently for us. Yeah, I mean, guys are always going to have a little bit of fun. I mean, there's always some shenanigans going on behind the scenes. Some that, like in that case, that's open to public view. And I thought it was a pretty good one. I'm not sure who got him. I can't speak to that. But You know, it's like I said, it's in many respects, it's still a kid's game. Obviously, it's very serious business, but you have to always find different ways to stay loose, to have fun, and in turn, that just injects life into everything. Well, you have excellent depth. They're a very structured team and consistent team throughout their lineup. Some of the areas, I think a lot of people talk about the things that they're able to do and the structure that they play with defensively, but for me, they're a very dangerous team off the rush. They've got a ton of playmaking ability, so we have to be very good there. Our gaps and the way we handle the puck, the opportunities that we give them on transition, we have to be careful with that. And like I said, our tracking and gaps and the way we play on return into our D zone will be very important for us tonight.
So there you go. That's Dave Haxtell talking. He talked about Tomas Tatar. He talked about I just drew a blank. The Kings. He talked about the Kings and talking about how a lot of people talk about them defensively, but that they can really get up in the rush. You also heard that he mentioned Adam Larsson. Well, he mentioned Adam Larsson directly and then also indirectly. The shenanigans, that's because of the Adam Larsson t-shirts with his bowl cut, like looking super, like very super Swedish there. But I think like from a Swedish pop band is my anyway. Adam Larsson is set to today will be, and we are expecting to see him slotted into the roster, but that's 300 consecutive games. Third, one of three players maybe with a 300 or better active streak, or one of three players with an let me actually just pull up what they wrote so that I'm not misspeaking. I thought I was going to remember and I didn't. Okay. 5th longest streak in the NHL, 300 games, and one of 10 players. One of 10 players to have an active Ironman streak of at least 200 games or not. Okay. Got that all wrong. Glad I looked at the notes. His current 229 Ironman streak is the 5th longest streak in the NHL, and he's one of 10 players to have an active Ironman streak of 200 or more. So, congrats to Larsson. Also, yes, that's consecutive games. Ironman is like, so Ironman races are those like super long races, and this is just consecutive games. So when you're an Iron Man or like an Iron Woman, that's that you're not missing games. Yeah, that's what that means. Oh, upper body. I saw this comment. Upper body, lower body. I once heard, I think I talked about this on the show before, but in hockey and in the NHL has made a very intentional choice to not disclose where in upper or lower body. So yes, if you look at the hinge of the body being the hips, then yes, upper body is anything above, let's just say, the belly button, and below the belly button would be lower body. So that's kind of how they do that. So okay, we talked a little bit about the Kings. We talked about Tomas Tatar, Adam Larsson, Ironman streak. We also see that Pierre-Edouard Bellemare has had a really great handful of games. He scored in his last 2. Kyler Yamamoto also has been great. That 4th line we talked about has been really fantastic. So some of my keys to the game tonight against this LA Kings squad: fun, fast, and forechecking. If we know that this is a Kings team that's really good structurally on the defensive side, then another thing that I want to see is, and it's a little bit different than what Nick Olczyk said the other day. He felt that the team played direct. I think he was talking during the Chicago game. And on the one hand, I agree with him. There have been times where we try to get maybe a little too cute as our offense. And he liked that they were playing direct, going towards the net front, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare has been great at this lately. And with no Jaden Schwartz, who was early on kind of holding and carrying the banner, so to speak, on that, we need other guys. So Pierre-Edouard Bellemare is that. I talked about Wenberg on the power play, creating that screen. Want to see more of that. So while I like what Nick is saying that they need to play more direct, I think with this Kings team, you need to find a way to tire them out and to keep them hemmed into their defensive zone. So for me, yes, that's forechecking. Yes, that's being fast, but it's also being able to get puck retrievals, to be able to recycle in your own offensive zone. And I do think that I understand what Nick is saying about direct, but I think you have to get the defense and the goaltender to move laterally. So I need crisp passing. I need tic-tac-toe passing. I want a Riker Evans wraparound pass to smack that in. Those are the kinds of goals that I think we're going to need against the Kings. And they've been the goals that have got us back into the win column. Those are the kinds of goals that are getting us back into the win column. If you looked at that clip that I played of Tomas Tatar, there was also a Nathan Bastian goal, which I wanted to keep in the clip because, of course, he used to be with the Seattle Kraken. But if you see that Nate Bastian goal, what do we see? A shot goes in, it deflects off of the goaltender and maybe even another player in front, but by having someone net front, Bastian could be on that doorstep as the goaltender is kind of lunging out to make the save, and that ricochets off of him, then it's Bastian right there. We often don't have numbers. You talk about pucks in deep. What good is having the puck deep if the players are also not playing aggressively, getting into that slot area, low slot, even the high slot? We haven't been seeing enough of that. So fun, fast forechecking, and get the Kings moving and tired in their offensive zone. Will some of that come from the power play? Perhaps, but you don't have to wait for the power play for that. You can play controlled in your own zone. You can be very aggressive, use your defenders to keep the zone. And that's what we need to see. And it has to be a progression because let's be honest, schedule wise, structure wise, discipline wise, being a playoff team in the last handful of years, this is the best team that we've played in the last handful of games. And they're a division rival. So what we did against Chicago, what we did against why do I keep forgetting who we played? Florida, right? Well, they're obviously also a playoff team. What we did against Florida, okay. What we did against Chicago, can't bank on that every time. So how are we going to take it to a team? We need to get points in the division. And I think this is a solid soup to nuts, solid hockey team. They're not necessarily dealing with some of the same issues that we talked about on our Squadcast episode that the Panthers are dealing with. And they're not Chicago. So, we really need to get it a little bit better. And this is the right time to do it. If we like the taste of winning, the way that you keep winning is to elevate. You got to level up, as Sierra might say. Painting with broad strokes, we've been getting better and playing more dynamic, less robotic hockey with more east-west movement. You get me. I probably could have just said that and saved us like 5 minutes of me waxing poetic. But yes, correct. We have to level up to that play. We haven't even had a grasp of the basics with consistency this year. So, that's why if we were to win tonight, this would be our longest winning streak of the year. That's not going to be a 500 plus hockey team. Not unless everyone else is really bad. We need to, regardless of what how we feel about Chicago, how we feel about Florida, or even how we feel going against LA. This has to be blinders on, an opportunity to seize the moment to play the best version of Seattle Kraken hockey that we've ever seen this season. And I don't think it's asking too much. It's not asking too much. It's asking to rise to the level that you already are at. That's what I want from them. Because they need this game. They need to win this game for so many reasons. You don't want to snap the fun, the good vibes that we've been having. You don't want to lose to a divisional opponent. And again, you have to somehow erase an 8-game skid. Can't lose this game. Can't lose this game. Now, of course, LA is not going to give it to us. So what are we willing to do? I've been talking about a lot of things offensively. Of course, I have a laundry list of things that we need to do on the defensive side. And if we play the way we can and that we did last year, and we're so focused on forechecking, moving the puck, moving east-west, right? If we're doing all of those things, then you have no choice but to be defensively sound. You have no choice. You have to play good defense. You have to play a suffocating high pace level of defense aka on the forecheck, to be able to play the way you want offensively. That's what we need. Can we get to 500 in my opinion? Yes. 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 Do we have the capability? Do we have the potential? Do we have the time? I think the answer to all of those things is yes. And we have to commit to truly defending the deep. I feel I did not take it down, but I used to have the defending the deep poster. It keeps coming down. I mean, that seems pretty accurate. My defend the deep poster will not stay on the wall. We have to defend home ice. We have to. Right now, the Seattle Kraken, I mentioned the record, but they're 435 is the win percentage. This goal differential is coming down. We're at a -17. So I like that. But we got to bring the goal differential down for sure. I mean, that 7-1 game really helped. But bring that goal differential down, really get into forechecking, and then everything else fun and fast. I really do want to see them have fun. I think if we just have fun, how do we get there and stay there? If we play the way we've played in the last handful of games, it's not like they're not going to lose another game. They're going to lose another game. It's December. They're going to lose again. Do I want it to be tonight? Absolutely not. Could it happen? Absolutely it could. But in the next 2 games, because we have LA next week as well, we need at least one of these games. I would love to take both. I would love to take points in both. We need to win against LA. They're a 692 team. The other teams that are the only other team ahead of us that's 500 between LA and the Kraken right now is Edmonton. I mean, Edmonton was not playing well earlier in the year, and then they got it together. But we got to collect wins. So we need to win because we need a streak. We need a streak of games to go. Goaltending, again, not the problem. Defense has been a little bit of an issue, but I say that all of the time. The energy, the fun are all things that make me think that the Seattle Kraken team is going to just do a scotch less thinking, and they're going to be fluid. We have not been a fluid team, in my opinion, a lot of this year. And some of that is just gripping too tight, thinking too much, and an analysis paralysis. That's maybe a nicer way of saying what I think I've been seeing is that they have been lethargic. They have been discombobulated. The communication seems like it's been lapsed at times. Can't have that. So do the opposite of that. I want you to have fun. I want you to always be moving. I want you to communicate. Seems like the vibes are good. The goaltending, you pretty much know what you're going to get, but help your goaltenders. And so, yeah, those are just the things. Is it just me, or do Hack's teams seem to come become good in December? Maybe we're just late bloomers. I mean, last year was a little bit of a crawl out the gate. I remember that. Embrace the chaos poster. Embrace the chaos. Listen, I almost want us to be a little more chaotic. I think we were trying to be maybe this kind of more trim, controlled team. Not that they were trying to be too serious, but again, I just think they were overthinking it. They were trying to play a role that they hadn't really felt out and weren't completely convinced of just yet. But I think there's a different way. I like this path that we're on to get to where we want to go. It just seems like, hey, we know we have a job to do. We're going to do that job. But a part of the job is making sure we're good, that our unit is good to go, is solid. And I think they've been focusing on that a little bit more. And I still do want them to have practice. I think they've been having some practice, so that's good. But I don't think we have to concern. I don't think that we have to be too concerned is what I want to say. We were getting close. If we had gotten to 10 games and beyond of consecutive losses, we got to have a conversation. I don't think anyone wants to lose 8 straight. You're going to lose 8 or more games, obviously, in a season. No one wants to lose 8 straight. So get a little bit further removed from the skid. And that has to be a win. That has to be a win tonight. That's really, because you don't want to revert back to whatever that funk was. And I'm not saying if they lose tonight that they're not going to be able to bounce back. That's not what I'm saying either. But the further removed you are from that, the more you can put it on the shelf, put it in the rearview mirror and not look back. At least not look back with any feeling. We don't need that anymore. Let it go. Move on. Would Hack have been in the hot seat if we had lost 10, even with the extension? I think, would they fire him? I'm kind of leaning towards no, because I don't think, and I started talking about this on another show. I would say I don't think he gets fired necessarily, but you definitely have to have a conversation. You have to really dig, deep into what are the issues and how many of them are coaching issues. And spoiler alert, if you're having a lot of issues, I'm of the opinion that not all of them are the coaches doing. But by definition, the coaching staff is put in place to fix issues. And so if you have issues that are spanning more than 10 losses in a row, yeah, you got to start talking about coaching. But again, I felt I was leaning more towards this is a front office issue that needs to be fixed. Bringing in Tatar shows me at least that the front office is willing to make moves. Is this an earth-shaking, groundbreaking, franchise-changing move? I don't think so, at least not right now. But Ellie Tolvanen was a good move for the Seattle Kraken. I do think bringing Joey Daccord up this year was a good move by the Seattle Kraken. I think Riker Evans being with the team right now is a good move by the front office. Will Tatar be a good move? I guess we'll find out. And that starts tonight. I'm going to let you go. We've been on here for a while. We're just kind of talking. That's why I like to do shows on Saturday, because I can be a little bit more kind of fun flowing, free with the structure. But that's what we have tonight. I'm going to show you what we're projecting. These were the line rushes at practice, so you can get ready for tonight. Tatar going to be on that top line with Beniers and McCann, Cartier, Wenberg, and Tanev, Tolvanen, Gord, and Bjorkstrand, Shore, Belmar, and Yamamoto. I think we'll see. Let me put it this way. The Seattle Kraken will win if, like we did the other night, we see every line contribute to at least one goal. Did I say that in a way that made sense? Because I want every line to collect at least 1 point tonight. To me, that means that we're getting multiple goals We need that against LA. We're getting multiple goal scorers, and that's where every line comes in. I think that we can get at least one player from every line with a point this game. I think that would be awesome. And that goes to what Tatar was talking about and what a lot of people talk about when they talk about the Seattle Kraken. We're known for being HC opportunity. We're known for being the lunch pail, blue collar, hardworking, and we're going to give it to you line 1 through line 4. That's what we're known for. So play that way. And playing that way also gives everyone the opportunity to play fun, fast, free, and to forecheck. That's what we need. That's what we need. So I'm looking for it. I'm looking forward to tonight. Hey, don't worry about it. Hey, don't worry about the questions. Again, when we go live, that's why I like going live. Ask as many questions as you want. I'll get to as many of them as I can. But yeah, that's why I like this flow. I'm glad that you had a good time. Let's get ready to go over to Inside Kraken Hockey. I feel like I always get that wrong. Anyway, Piper does a great show. Then we have the pregame show, and then it's the main event. So as I always say, be kind to yourselves, be kind to one another. And tonight we hold fast, we stay true, and we say loud and proud, defend the deep. No, I'm just kidding because my poster's gone. We say, let's go Kraken. Enjoy the game. If you are a Kraken insider, look for audio. It's probably going to go up tomorrow, but a little bit of a taste of a conversation that I had about the rendering of the field of T-Mobile Park. I'll have a full article. Looks like we'll have some stuff coming out on that, but Kraken insiders, you'll get it first. Thank you as always. Yes, defend the deep. Great to see you as well. And let's go Kraken. Peace out, everybody. Enjoy your night. Get a little nap in, pregame nap, or get your snacks. I know I'm getting my snacks on. I'll catch you on the interwebs and on the next episode of Locked on Kraken. Peace out, everybody.